nerves.
So get rid of any chance of electromagnetic field.
That's a very good thing to do, because
Okay.
there you have hopefully 7-8 hours of peace and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also ground your sheet. There are grounding sheets you can buy. But we talked for a moment about an anti-inflammatory diet. Well,
Yes.
there are lots of things that are delicious that are also very beneficial for your blood vessels. Berries, cherries, grapes, these are all very good. By the way, they're red, so that's a good way to remember them. They're red, they're blue, and they are anti-inflammatory naturally because they have steroids, natural steroids in them. The goji, the Tibetan goji berry, is a wonderful food because it's so nutritious, but it's also cooling, nourishing. Tea, ordinary tea that you can drink, any kind of tea, green tea, black tea. This is a very beneficial for our heart, because when we have tea in our life, the fat that we eat that's not healthy fat passes through our body much more easily. So it's a slimming food, and it's a stimulating food, but at the same time it protects the blood vessels.
So tea is good for us. Berries are good for us. People
fish that is red, and oily fish, the omega-3 foods, the
Right.
omega-3 oils, chia seeds, chia. Chia seeds are an excellent way to lose weight, to build your nutrition, and to give you fiber. And I didn't even know how to use them. I heard about them many years ago, and I tried to chew them, but it's impossible. They're like little tiny seeds, but the way to use them correctly is to make a seed pudding. Add chaga tea, for example, or another liquid, and they puff up, they get soft, and they turn into a fiber that makes you feel satisfied, as though you've eaten a meal, but it gives you a high nutrition, super nutrition, and high fiber.
So all these wonderful foods that'll keep us healthy are right in front of us. And you know, when you go to the grocery store, and I've been doing this lately, I read what the contents are. And if I can't pronounce what the content is, I don't buy it.
That's a good way to do it. That's a simple way to do it. But I look at sodium, because a lot of people who are sitting there at their computer or at their television or driving their cars have water retention.
Yes.
They have swollen ankles. They have a swollen face. That means they have to be very careful about sodium. So I look at the labels for sodium, and I avoid canned foods because those are usually high sodium, even the canned spaghetti sauces and things like that, which are otherwise healthy. So I look at sugar and sodium especially.
As do I. I'm very careful about the sugar content, and I'm very careful about the sodium content. You know, it doesn't take that much longer to prepare a healthy meal without having to go into the canned foods or the prepared foods. It's very simple, and you know what? It tastes so much better.
And it can be inexpensive too if you eat the right things. Things that are like chia is not expensive at all. And if you want to lose weight and cleanse the liver, because the liver is our major detox organ, get yourself some naturally fermented, non-pasteurized apple cider vinegar, the cloudy vinegar, and add a tablespoon to a glass of water and drink it before a meal so that you feel refreshed and you eat less of the wrong kinds of foods.
I think that the fast pace in which we all live and work today is one of the worst contributors to our very poor dietary considerations. You know, in my day, when my mom and dad, when I lived at home, you know, Mom would come home and she would make a supper from scratch. But today, there's a drive-through burger place, there's a drive-through pizza place, they even have drive-through pharmacies and drive-through funeral homes now. How lazy are we getting?
No.
Yeah.
That's a little gross. A drive-through funeral home? I mean, like catch grandmother on the run, or what? What is that?
Well, what it is, if you'll excuse this, you know, as you're driving by some stores and they have this beautiful display in the window. Well, this is what happens. You've got this beautiful display, and there will be the deceased person on exhibit. You know, there's even funeral homes now that video stream the entire wake.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's for the relatives in Eastern Europe or someplace.
Exactly.
Far away.
Far away, hopefully. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour, Letha. Please stand by. Great having you with us, and congratulations on all the wonderful things you're doing. Pardon?
Fun to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks, dear. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue here in the X Zone with my very special guest, Letha Hadady, and her website is, all right, X Zone Nation, do you have your pencils and paper ready? Here we go. www.asianhealthsecrets.com. That's www.asianhealthsecrets.com, and we'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news. Don't go away.
The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to share a little story with Letha and the members of the X Zone Nation. I was out a couple of weeks ago, and I had to stop at a corner store because Laura sent me out for some milk. And I stopped by this store that was near a school. While I was in the store, the school let out for lunch. And you had these students coming in, and they were getting their lunches, which consisted of a large bottle of soda pop that was diet. It was filled with aspartame, and potato chips, chocolate bars, and these different pastries. And then we wonder why kids are having a problem in school, because, in my opinion, if you don't fuel the engine with the right type of fuel, the engine is not going to work right. So we've got to take a good look not only at ourselves, but we also have to look at the other members of society and how we can help. And, you know, the soft drink industry here in Canada, Letha, has removed all soft drink machines from schools. They've been replaced with juice machines.
Better than America. Yeah, that's better than America.
You know,
but juice, you should cut it with water anyway, because there's a lot of sugar in those prepared juices.
There certainly is.
That's better than we're doing here, because I was just reading an article about there's a district in Illinois that during the last summer opted out of federal funding for lunch programs because they wanted to offer their students the same kind of stuff that they've been eating all along, which is the bad habits.
Yeah.
So I think it has to begin at home, that we have to offer kids healthy snacks and healthy foods so that they start to crave them.
Yeah. You know, we take better care of our cars than we do our bodies. You know? Like you were saying, you were talking about the liver before. And the liver, for all of you car buffs, is the exact same. It does the exact same thing that your oil filter does. It filters out all the impurities. And this is what you're looking.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, dear.
It also has a great deal to do with the manufacture of cholesterol.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the statin drugs have become overused around the world. And the statin drugs are the drugs that stop the liver from making cholesterol. Well, there are some natural foods that have lovastatin, which is a milder statin that people can take without the side effects, and they've been used for centuries in China. China has a very good record for heart disease. It's right across the border from Russia, where people are dying left and right from heart disease, and China has very good numbers because they're drinking tea called pu'er, Puerh, which has a natural statin in it. It's digestive. It's delicious. They are adding red yeast rice as a food color to their soup, which also has a statin, a natural statin. And this is going to work like the drug, the statins, but without the terrible side effects. And some of the side effects are very painful, like loss of memory, muscle pain, and so forth. So this is why I'm writing this book, the heart health book that I'm involved in and have been for a few years now, because people need to know about these options, and they might be from another part of the world, they might be from another culture, but they certainly work very well.
As long as it works, who cares where it comes from?
Yeah. I had a wonderful example of someone who I know who is originally from Russia, now lives in Ottawa, and they harvest chaga, chaga, which is a mushroom that grows on the beech tree, and it's extremely nutritious. And he sent me some of this. It's really quite delicious. You brew it in a slow cooker, and it's so nourishing. That's about all you need to eat. It's wonderful, and it can substitute for coffee and all the other stimulants that we overdo to help support health. And he gave me also some other ideas about essential oils for hypertension. And since hypertension is such a big issue for a lot of people, here's a delightful way to help keep your blood pressure in check. And that is essential oils of ylang-ylang, 5 drops of that, 2 drops of lavender oil, and 1 drop of neruli oil. Now, when I mention these, since some of them come from Asia, people are not going to know them, but they are in your health food store and online, and it's a very pleasant aroma. It's an aroma that's calming. So that's another way of helping to keep us in better balance is diet and exercise, of course. Stress reduction any way we can with playing with our pets or calling friends, exercise that is not taxing for the body like swimming, and having essential oils instead of toxins that come from perfumes and other chemicals. Oh, here's another tip. I like to get very practical with my health tips because this is the kind of stuff that I've learned in the last year or so, and I'm doing it myself and enjoying it. Instead of toothpaste, I use a powder from a bark from a tree that grows in the tropics called neem, Neem. It grows in our tropics in Florida, but also in Asia and India, and it's antibacterial. And this comes home. I have a story that this will bring this home to you. I know a man, and I hadn't seen him for years, and I bumped into him, and he looked very different. He had lost 30 pounds, and he said, I've been in the hospital for a month on antibiotics because I had a tooth infection, and the bacteria from my gums went into my stent in my heart. And so this is something the doctors will not tell you. When you get a stent or you get a joint replacement, it's going to open you more easily to infection because there aren't any natural antibodies right there. So his tooth infection, which he didn't even know he had, turned into a heart infection. So to help prevent that, I use neem bark powder. which is antibacterial. And I never liked the taste of fake toothpaste taste anyway. You know, that fake mint. So I rather like it. It tastes like a tree bark. It's kind of fun.
What can our listeners do if they're suffering from insomnia? Because, you know, they're so keyed up, they have so much on their mind, they toss and turn all night, and they don't get the proper amount of sleep that the body requires to replenish itself with.
Yeah, there are nice things you can